So this is about take 23 of intros to the podcast. So with that, hello everybody and welcome to episode 3 of the podcast. I am of course your host Az, and we're back for another episode of Wordage in Your Earage, where this week I'm going to focus on the topic of music. I am going to be joined by my good friend Ash Clarke momentarily when we do a little time warp and time travel. We recorded it last week. I'm here doing an intro now. And that's what you're listening to. Though now is very different to when you're listening to this, because I'm recording this now, which you don't know when, and you're going to be listening to it on probably Thursday morning. So how about that? Who knows what day it is? It could be a Sunday. It could be a Monday. It's definitely Monday. So I'm joined by my friend Ash Clarke. If you don't know Ash, Ash does have a musical past and has been in touring bands and all sorts of bits and pieces. Has dabbled in some YouTube covers and things like that, and he's currently now working on his own YouTube channel, VersionOne, which is more focused on cars and stuff like that. So a bit of a tangent for music, but Ash is a very musical man, and music is one of the things that we actually become friends through, because we're both very, 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 very big Slipknot fans. Don't worry, guys, this is not a complete episode just gushing over Slipknot. I understand not everybody is a metalhead. We're just talking about the general gist of being in a band, life of touring, his experiences through that, the people he met, the things he got to do, our general love for music, and all bits and pieces like that. I think it's a really interesting episode, but there is a but. Just to let you know up front, this is a pretty long episode. So it's very stacked, and now you've got me yammering on for a few minutes before we even start. So yeah, it is long. I did think about cutting it up into 2 parts, but I thought, what the fuck? If you enjoy it, you enjoy it. I think this is a very, very good episode, and you should stick around and listen to the whole thing. It's very interesting, some of the stuff that Ash has to say. And even I have some interesting things to say, maybe. If not, oh well, then you can listen to all the interesting stuff he has to say, and I'll just help him through it. So with that, here is the episode on music, episode 3. Listen. You're already listening. This is terrible. Whatever. We're going into it. Well, hello there, Mr. Clarke. It's nice to have you join me on an episode of the podcast.
Hello, sir, from my square room.
Yeah, hello from my living room. From my living room to your games fucking dungeon.
Literally.
How are things? How is lockdown?
All right, mate. Just trying to stay sane. Playing games, loads of them.
Yeah.
Watching TV.
Yeah,
loads of it.
Watching TV loads. What are you watching?
Literally, we just flip through stuff on TV sometimes. We
like actual TV, or are we talking like Netflix, or are we talking like on Virgin Media or something?
I haven't watched much on Netflix recently. Like,
have you not?
Flick through stuff. She's been watching some series and stuff. We just flick on stuff. We watch that Pitbulls and Paraleys quite a lot. Have you seen any of that?
No. What is that?
It's basically like it's a woman. She has like a dog shelter. It started with just Pitbulls. And it's basically she like just takes these dogs in, looks after them, tries to get them rehomed.
Can I guess what channel this is on? Is this on TLC by any chance?
Probably.
Anything that's any good like that is on fucking TLC. Like TLC is the channel.
It's pretty interesting, man. Like a load of the dogs that get taken in. Some of them have got like mad stories. Like literally so thin, just been like kicked out. Some of them, literally one the other day I watched, a guy drove past, threw it out the door, not literally, but like kicked it out the door and drove off.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Literally right out front.
And what, it's like about how she rehabs these dogs and stuff then, essentially?
Yeah, but yeah, she literally gets the dogs and she takes them in, gets them either to health and then rehomes them. But basically people come along on the site or call her and be like, this is the kind of dog we're looking for with this kind of temperament. And then they basically, because they know the dog's sort of 1-to-1, they'll go and get like, say 3 of them, bring them in one by one, let them all greet and be like, no, this one's too much. This one's perfect, and let them choose from that. But yeah, it's interesting, man. That in America and stuff like that, the like the pit bulls and stuff especially are so like just kicked aside. Like they don't give a crap about them. They literally fight them throw them away.
That's crazy. By the way, you can totally swear on this.
Yeah, no, I know.
I could see you second guess yourself, and I was like, you can totally swear on this.
Yeah, I know. I'm just
totally blasé.
I'm trying to keep things semi-PG.
Okay.
Until later when I get excited and probably swear loads.
Yeah, that'd be difficult. It would be me who starts swearing loads. So yeah, to be fair, like you've obviously been watching TV. I've watched absolutely zero TV recently. I suck at watching TV. Yeah. Considering I have another podcast about fucking video games and stuff. I just swore, so I broke it. Sorry.
That's it.
So any family members you might share this with now, like, oh no, someone's swearing. I can't watch this.
Turn it off.
It's too much.
Turn it off. It's broke.
It's too much. So you and Lee, and let anyone who doesn't know Ash lives with his fiancée Lee. You guys haven't tried to kill each other yet or nothing like that. Actually, I saw you did a very nice post on Facebook actually. So
yeah, it's been a weird time, obviously being in isolation. Like everyone's missing their friends, everyone's missing their family. Like so, people just get niggly, don't they? Niggly and annoyed, and take things out on people. Everyone's just like kind of already there. So like as soon as you get that little thing, like it could be like, I don't know, anything. Literally, like, oh, that film's shit. But, like that's my favourite film ever.
Yeah.
I'm so pissed off.
Now I hate you. Now. Don't fucking talk to me.
Don't speak to me ever again. Yeah, literally, like that kind of thing. Like because you've got nothing to get pissed about, really. You kind of
I've said this on the previous 2 episodes of this. Is like there's this anxiety that's just there, and it's just weird. But yeah, like, I'm glad you two are getting along and stuff because obviously I know it's tough, especially when you're just. I mean, obviously I'm with the parents, and like there's days where like I could just kill them. It's like the roles are reversed in this house. Is I'm the adult now.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing as well. Is like where you're stuck indoors, like you can't like I'm going out or whatever. Like,
no.
I said this, like we like to stay indoors and play games and watch films and hang out and have takeaway. But because we can't do the other side of things now, all of the other things feel like you're being made to do it.
Yeah, like, that's it.
You have to play. You have to watch a film. You have to like. Do you know what I mean? Like even just nipping out in the car and just going for a little rip, anything like that.
Yeah.
Just like nah.
No, exactly. I know that's probably got to be tough for you as well, not being able to just go out and do stuff with your car and whatnot.
It's more just the social stuff though. Like even coming to yours and playing games, even just a change of walls.
Yeah.
Like, this is the thing. You sit in your house and like everything is just so. Everything's the same. Literally, it's like routine.
Again, it's like repeating yourself every day. I keep saying this. It's like the third time I'm saying this, but it is. It's because that's what it feels like. It's like you're just having the same day over and over and over again.
Reliving the same day. Yeah, you're literally like reliving the same day. It's
that's
like,
it.
oh yeah, I'm going to do that again today.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Your highlights of your day are just like, oh, it's reset day on Destiny today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just like that's sort of like the highlights of your day because something that hasn't been the same the last week has changed.
No, exactly. I mean, that's why this is nice, to be fair, for 2 reasons. Because one, me and you have for ages actually spoke about potentially like doing something together. So this is kind of doing that. And 2, like I don't think me and you've had an actual conversation properly, just one-on-one outside of like Discord or something properly in like a couple of weeks now. So it's good to be able to actually catch up with you and stuff. So
yeah, that's the thing as well. Like you can't do normal shit like go for a barbecue or sit in a mate's garden and have a couple of ciders and whatever.
Well, we all know there'd have been about 10 barbecues around this house by now if the circumstances were different, especially with like last weekend, how good it was then, and like a couple of weeks ago and stuff. And it's annoying.
The best weather we've had in ages in a row.
Yeah.
And we've got to stay indoors.
And you've got to stay indoors.
Farce, mate. It's a farce.
Like I don't want to play Final Fantasy anymore. I want to go out.
Mate, you're literally looking out the window and you're like, why is it absolutely baking? Like, and no, we're not in a beer garden. We're not having a barbecue. We're not even.
I'm so pale right now. It's disgusting. It's even when it's been nice. I've not been out there. I keep trying to make. I keep forcing myself to go for a walk just so I can go and get like some sun because it's terrible. So, but yeah, obviously the other thing as well. Obviously, got you on the podcast as well because obviously you've got a bit of a background in music and stuff like that, and I thought it might be interesting for other people to hear. We can dive into that and whatnot, and see if you've got some stories to share and knowledge to throw out into the ether, and why not? He's like, yes.
Touring has been such a huge portion of my life, music in general.
Yeah.
There's just so much. Even talking over it, then I remember other times, like, oh my God, that time we did this and whatever, like you just.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's stuff where I've sat talking with you about your time like Hey Vanity and In Fear and stuff like that, and like you'll remember something that I've not even heard of before and stuff, because obviously I knew you after the fact, essentially.
Yeah.
So the stuff I didn't know. So before we get to that, I thought it would be cool because I don't think I've ever even asked you, because like I've always known you as a drummer. I know you can play other instruments and stuff like that. But what was like the first instrument you played, and how, like, when did you get your first instrument? What even got you into music? Like triple whammy there. Let's start from the beginning.
Right. First instrument played. Well, I'd always try and play my granddad's keyboard, and I knew I liked. I liked that genre, but like I couldn't play very well. It was just playing it. Do you know what I mean? Like having an instrument that made noises that you can't, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like, I always loved music growing up, like mainly through my parents. Like you're just basically a filter of what your parents listen to.
Yeah.
And you know, there'd be stuff that my mum would listen to that got me into stuff like weird stuff. Like I say weird, I mean for me, like Shania Twain, and like
oh god, my mum loves Shania Twain.
the Carpenters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like there's some seriously like that sort of stuff just being played a lot in the car or whatever in the house.
Yeah.
Just used to get you. And like I was barely born in the 80s, so I'm like more of a 90s kid. So like all the 90s music was all electronic.
Yeah.
So like it was all just massive dance. And that was all I was basically really listening to, dance and generic music as such, like pop and chart stuff. Then I think the first time I think I properly got into music was Michael Jackson, probably. That was
really?
That was the first time I think I heard something musically when I was obviously so young. I was like, this guy's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like it was even then it was the heavier stuff he did that got me into it.
Yeah.
So like he was kind of that poppy guy with like that rockier.
Yeah,
edge,
he had that edge. Yeah, exactly, with the guitars and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. When I heard like Dirty Diana and stuff like that, the guitars and stuff like that, and like, yeah, man, it's just that connection to music, and that's where I started, I guess, kind of feeling that vibes for music. I was like, oh, you know, this is making me feel something that, you know,
like nothing else has, sort of thing. Yeah, felt that connection to music, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but the first instrument I actually learned was drums. I started on drums, and I learned guitar as a second instrument for GCSE.
Okay, yeah.
Because I needed like two instruments to go forward and do my GCSE stuff. But like back then, that's when I really got into heavy music.
Yeah.
So I didn't give a crap about lessons. I was just like, don't want to do lessons.
Because they wouldn't have taught you anything that you were into, obviously. So you wouldn't have learned anything like that.
I don't want to play blues. I want to play Slipknot well fast. And that was literally how it went round, man. Like I just, as soon as I heard Slipknot and then I knew I was playing and I was going to lessons and learning stuff that wasn't what I'm listening to.
Yeah.
I kind of lost interest.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's difficult, especially because it's completely different worlds. But it was even like growing up, I was always into computers, and just like I wasn't into IT. I was saying I was into IT is wrong. I was obviously into gaming and like gaming computers and building PCs and stuff like that. But it's the same thing. It's like what they teach you in school. I was like, I don't want to learn that. I want to learn how to put a computer together. They don't teach you that in school. Do you know what I mean? So it's the same sort of comparison, that parallel though, of like what you're trying to be. They're trying to teach you isn't necessarily what you want to do. So like at home, I'd learn myself. Like I'm guessing you probably did with your music and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, like you say, you want to learn what that is, but in a different context.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to drum, but I don't want to drum what you're telling me to do. I want to drum that.
Yeah.
Like, and that's good. But the thing is, as well, being young and naive, you learn all of these different types, and it makes you better at playing in general.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas back then, when I was playing as well, like I just wasn't listening really much to that stuff. So I was listening to stuff that was way out of my league.
Yeah.
Like my playing ability was here, and I was trying to learn stuff like over here.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't working.
Well, the thing is, as well, when you're younger, I mean, you can attest to that now as well. Like your music taste now compared to when you're in your teens is completely different. Because like when I was younger, I was like, I like this style of music, and that's it. Don't want to hear anything else. Don't care about anything else. If you tell me anything else is better, I don't give a shit. Don't want to hear it.
Mate, it was just literally heavy music or nothing.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Me and Jim used to literally sit listening for bands, and we'd put something on, and if we didn't like it within 20 seconds, it got skipped.
Yeah.
Literally, if it didn't kick off, don't care.
Oh, to be fair, I was the opposite when I was younger.
Yeah.
I think I told you this before, but when I was like until I was about 14, I think 14 was when I started getting into heavy music.
Yeah.
just to sort of give you my parallel of like getting into music and stuff like that. Obviously, I can't play an instrument to save my life. I had one guitar lesson when I was like 8, I think, and that was it. My mum bought me a guitar, and that was fucking wasted. I had one fucking lesson; it just sat in the corner of the room. But like, heavy music got me into music because weirdly, I got into music through wrestling. Like the theme songs, the theme songs are obviously such a huge part of pro wrestling and stuff like that. Is that was like the first album I ever bought myself was like WWF Music Volume 3 or something like that. So it was all, and again, that was all. Everybody had metal theme songs like Steve Austin, DX, all that stuff like that. It was all metal.
Was that when Steve Austin went to Disturbed? Was that?
Yeah, like that. Yeah, exactly, all that kind of stuff. So like that got me into music, and it was heavy music. Then I discovered like Eminem, and I fell into like hip hop, and I listened to like strictly rap and hip hop until I was like 14, and I was like,
do you know what's weird though? There was something around that time that made everyone listen. If you were into metal, you liked rap, and if you liked rap, you listened to metal. It was the weirdest thing because Jim was all like me and Jim were all about when we got into it. Limp Bizkit, Papa Roach, Linkin Park, Sum 41. It was all of those bands around that time. But yet he'd have Dre CDs.
Yes,
I'm like, what's that? What's that then?
Yeah, well, that was the thing I remember when I was 14 because all my friends then weren't into heavy music. So for me, it was like my bastard stepchild, like listening to like Linkin Park and Slipknot and Korn and all that stuff. And nobody really listened to that. Whereas I was like that in between of like listening to hip hop and again, I think like Limp Bizkit helped that, and like Eminem at the time, obviously because you had Limp Bizkit. Eminem did the stuff for Marilyn Manson and whatever. Mm-hmm. And they helped that crossover.
Hybrid bands though, weren't there?
Yeah, exactly.
Like hybrid bands like Limp Bizkit, like
Well, even like Linkin Park, they had that stuff. That track with the Executioners comes to mind. Like that came out and stuff. Wu-Tang Clan did that whole thing with Limp Bizkit. You know, there was all sorts of stuff.
But even D12 and stuff, they went down that kind of route. They were being played in Kerrang all the time. D12.
Yeah,
I remember.
Yeah, exactly. It was like that culture was sort of overlapped a little bit at that time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, man.
So drums basically was it then from young.
pretty much. It was more. I remember being like, I was at some like family get together, and I was just tapping away at stuff, and I don't know, like I was just feeling something when I was playing, and Mum said, "Oh, when are you getting the drum lessons?" I was like, "Oh, I don't know, whatever. Like, I'm not really big into new things." I was like, I'm just gonna stick with what I know. Yeah. And then she kind of like she goes, "Well, just do a couple of lessons at school and see how you get on." And to be fair, to start with, I was really enjoying it, and then that's when I really got into my heavier music and stuff. Like, you know, when you're young and naive, you don't care about other genres and you don't care about how they got to where they are. Mm-hmm. You just want to be as good as they are instantly. Yeah. So like, I didn't understand anything about key. I didn't understand anything about tuning. I didn't understand anything about like how they got so fast. Like, Joey was who I looked up to when I was young, Joey Jordison. But like, he had so much like jazz influence to his playing, especially his older stuff. Yeah. And I was just like literally watch videos of him, but like, I need to play like this now. I didn't understand how he had a double kick pedal and any of that. I was just like, just give me it. Yeah, yeah. But like, you
need that education. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You learn so much over the years, so much.
Yeah. So when did you like first start playing in a band then? Like, because I'm assuming you just had a drum kit at home and used to play at home and stuff, and then. Yeah,
I did get a kit. My nan and granddad bought me a kit for Christmas one year, but that was basically what I didn't really play in a band at that point. I was just learning and playing, and the thing with drums is they're so loud. You can't just play them when you want. Yeah, and I took about a 3 year, I'd say, in the middle, like not say hiatus from drumming, because every time I played, people would be like, "Stop." Every time, not my parents and stuff, just like neighbours would come knocking. Like my mum and dad were really good about it, and my nan and granddad didn't care. Literally, they'd just be like, "Go on, whatever, crack on." And like,
exactly. Watching you follow your dream kind of thing. Yeah, exactly.
Their neighbour kicked off at one point, and she went out there. She was just like, "Leave him 20 minutes. He's been on it. Leave him alone." She's gone out there like kicking off. Like, you know, it's just such a loud instrument. It's so invasive as well. Yeah. If you're sat watching a film, then all of a sudden, do you know what I mean? Like, everyone's just like, "Mate, come on."
Did you ever have those pads where it's like you have the pads on the top? I don't know how much quieter they made them. I remember my housemate at uni, Matt. You've met Matt. he had pads on his. He never fucking played his drums. And if he's listening to this, Matt, you never played those fucking drums ever.
Did he hang his clothes on it?
They sat in the living room and they were just like an ornament in the living room when we'd have a party and stuff. There was just a drum kit in the corner of the fucking living room. I think I saw him play. Actually, I'll tell you, I think I saw him play him once, and that was just because I kept on about him. I was like, "You gonna play those drums?" Did you have those though? The pads?
Yeah, I had the pads, but they were. That's the thing. I think the thing with drums as well is like it's a very.
You need to hear it.
It's a very primitive instrument. Like the thing that makes you want to play is that noise that they make.
Yeah.
And with the pads and stuff, it just really deadens the experience.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like it's one of those things that you just when the whole thing comes together and you get it all together, especially in like a decent room, the real sound of them is what makes you want to play them. And like I think that's where I was getting told not to play them so much, and like having the pads on and stuff just made me kind of not fall out of love, but like lose interest.
Yeah.
And around that time I was getting into like skateboarding and stuff as well, so like I was kind of doing other things.
Yeah.
Whilst obviously being well into music, but and then I think I come around, I think a couple of years, maybe 3-4 years after that, and joined my first band, which was called 12 Charge, which was ages ago, with some of my older mates, which like they've all gone off to uni and stuff now, or whatever. Like they've all done uni and done their own thing. But yeah, those guys, that was my first band we did, and we were just doing local shows and stuff. But
yeah.
That was the first taste I got of playing in front of people, some people I knew and that I didn't know.
Yeah. So
it was like I was just there, like I was just like, I love this feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because the thing with performing drums as well is you're not the center of everyone's attention, which I enjoyed. I liked being part of the ordeal, but not the one that's being stared at.
Yeah.
So like I was sat there and I was playing away, and if someone noticed you, it meant you were doing real good as well.
Good, yeah.
Right at the back of the stage.
Yeah.
So, like, if someone goes, "Oh man, you're sick," or whatever, it felt really nice.
It is. I mean, that eye line is, when you're at a gig, the eye line is normally drawn straight to the front man. Like, that's who you're looking at, really.
Switching over and stuff, like with their wires spinning around, and they've got so much flexibility. Yeah, the drummer's kind of sat in one space.
It's only these drummers who like being the centerpiece, like a Joey, who fucking spins upside down and shit, and shows himself off, like, who gets really any notice on stage, really.
Part of their stage show, man. That's the thing. Like he was noticed from the get-go. Like as soon as that band started, people were like, "What's this guy all about?" and stuff. But obviously, his deficiency held him back real soon. Like 2003, it hit him hard, and he really started to struggle.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's interesting. I love it talking to you when we watch a band, like a live video of like Slipknot or something like that, because you can tell you always like, oh yeah, it's really tight and stuff like that. But whereas for me, because I don't play, and like you hear stuff that I don't hear. Do you know what I mean? Like to me, I'm like, oh, that sounds great, and you're like, nah, it's fucked. I'm like, is it?
The thing with it is as well is it sounds really like uppity to be like, oh nah, but like it's more to the point of where like you can hear someone deteriorate. Like when I watch videos of Joey like pre-2002, he's absolutely killing it, like so solid. But then like I think like after the Disaster Pieces DVD was when it started, like when when he really struggled. And it wasn't his hands so much, it was his feet. He just couldn't move his legs like he used to.
Yeah.
And that was where things changed for that band, for sure. Like I don't know whether that changed the pace of their writing or anything. But just that that he used to be able to do, he just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Anywhere near as long. And the irony in that is Disaster Pieces is about 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, 3.5 minutes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, literally.
Just like, chaos.
Like the thing is, I understand because you have to be you have to be so strong to do that for that long.
Yeah.
Especially on a month tour or whatever that was.
I used to get fucking knackered playing Drum Hero.
Honestly. Like I've been on stage before and my legs have just stopped working. Like one of my legs have just stopped working.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking down at my egg. My egg?
Oh, your egg? My egg has cracked.
I'm looking down at my leg and it's like I don't own it. I'm like,
this is attached to me. I can't do nothing with it. Yeah.
Man, your whole back of your leg just seizes up. Like your calf just seizes up and you can't move. And you have to kind of just style it out.
Oh yeah, it's got to be exhaustive. I mean, did you like? Here's a question for you. Did you used to like go running or anything, and like prep for drumming or anything like that, or was it literally just playing your like workout for drumming for so long and stuff? Or
Pretty much, yeah. It was a case of the thing with drumming I noticed as well is if you'd been quite athletic,
Yeah.
you'd play worse.
Oh, you play worse because your
Yeah,
knees are shot and stuff like that, I assume. Yeah.
like it was more of a case of like if your muscles are aching and you go and try and do double kick for ages,
Mm-hmm.
it sucks. Like, you know, if you go and eat like a fatty meal before you go and sing, you're full of like just gunk. Like that's kind of a similar thing. You kind of like you're putting yourself at that disadvantage to start with. But yeah, well, not really a routine, mate. It was mainly warming up your hands was the thing, because if you've got cold hands and cold arms, going on stage, then that's the thing. Like, you know, you just get a little practice pad out and just sit and do some rudiments and stuff, and that's about it. But that was about it really for warm up. So I never used to when I was younger.
Yeah,
it's just turn up, play, get off.
Oh, fair.
But then,
fair.
As I started doing things more professionally, it would be more. I'd have to warm up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I assume there's got to be a warm up, especially if you're doing. I mean, like I don't know how long the longest set you played as such, but like even if it's like 40 minutes or something, that's a long time to be, you know, smashing double kick. So...
Yeah, well, the thing is, when I was doing the metal stuff, the set was a lot more testing in a different way.
Yeah.
Probably the longest sets I was doing was when I filled in for Fake Modo. Like I was doing probably the 15-minute sets, maybe nearly an hour.
Yeah.
So it's like eight, nine songs, something like that. And they were the hardest ones because metal has got a certain intricacy to it. Like, you know this. There's like so many sections and certain patterns that have to be followed. And when you not only is metal kind of like hard on your body, your mind as well. Like you have to be on it, absolutely on it with metal, because it's such a clinical genre. That's kind of what made me as clinical in music, I guess, as I am now.
Yeah.
Because I had to be perfect.
Yeah, because I can tell that from just listening to, like I say, when you watch other bands and stuff like that. I mean, it's like we saw a friend of ours band just before, literally like the week before the lockdown, wasn't it? We went to that gig.
Yeah.
And like, you know, you were just pointing things out about that show and stuff. I'm not trying to be a dick to the band, just stuff that you noticed that, like, because you know you've done it for so long and stuff. So just bits and pieces that you'd notice.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. Is like the thing with music as well is like. So if someone's experienced at it and was telling me what to do or telling me what to change, I'd be listening, because I was always trying to get better. And it's not like you stand out in the crowd like a dick.
Yeah, it's not trying to be. No, exactly. I think maybe from someone outside, like who maybe didn't know you or wasn't in music, might think that it is trying to be like that, but it's not. It's constructive criticism. It's not trying to be a critic for being a dickhead. It's being a critic to try and help this band improve their setup and stuff like that.
Absolutely, because that's the thing is like it's like if someone comes, like when I was learning about all PCs and stuff, like, while you were telling me stuff, I wasn't going to sit there and be like, "No, you're wrong."
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah.
Because it's what you've done it 1,000 million times. I'm not going to sit and be like, "No, you're chatting shit, mate."
Yeah.
Like,
who fucking told you that?
Like,
yeah.
yeah. Like I've played so many shows and done like tours and whatever and like stuff like that, and I've seen so many live bands. When you see someone that's good, you can see their potential and see where they can.
Well, I was going to say, it's the same for me. I mean, it's not. I wouldn't have the same criticisms that you would, but like, I've been to a lot of gigs and like I've seen a lot of bands live, and like for me, going to see a band, it's like a good live band is a band that makes you sort of connect with them on stage and makes you feel something straight away. Doesn't matter if you've heard them before or not. Been to so many gigs where like you'll see a pre-show act. Why can I not think of a fucking support? My God, I've got Alzheimer's. I swear to God. That or it's the Kraken. Who knows? Pre-show is. I'm thinking wrestling. I'm like, who's on the pre-show?
who's on the undercard?
Yeah, exactly. The undercard. But no, like a support band who you hear and you think, fuck, who is this? Festivals are like, you know, prime place for that. You go to a festival and you think instantly, you're like, these guys have got something about them straight away. Like you can tell that.
The thing with a festival though is I find it's a bit of an overdrive. Like you've got to go there like a sponge and basically like, I'm ready to take in everything that happens, because there's so much music at a festival. Like it's like I don't know. It's like watching Lee Evans live. You go in, you laugh for 2 hours, you come out and don't remember anything that's just happened.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is what a festival's like. You'll go to a festival and you'll remember, 10 minutes?
Yeah,
You're like,
absolutely.
I don't know.
Absolutely, it's information overload because at the end of the day, you
Bang,
see
bang,
like
bang,
10 bands
bang,
in a day or whatever.
Yeah,
it's like, and then all you remember is your favorite band, like who's headlining or whatever.
Yeah.
And the rest of it's just like I don't remember what happened. But I've discovered so many bands from festivals that I've, like Billy Talent is the first one that springs to mind and stuff like that. Sadly, Five Finger Death Punch, early Five Finger Death Punch, I enjoyed their first 2 albums. Okay, I'm a criminal, I know. But discovered them at download and stuff. Sorry, I can't hear you. I've just knocked my earbud out like a fucking idiot.
Okay.
Hello.
And I was going to say that whole Five Finger Death Punch though, I know why, is because it's around that wrestling vibe as well. Like that whole
legit.
Kind of,
you play SmackDown versus Raw, and that whole fucking every band on that album, if there was a soundtrack album for that, it sounds like Five Finger Death Punch.
Yeah, literally but look at like Drowning Pool and stuff like that. Drowning Pool were big at that time for wrestling.
Yeah.
Kill Switch started getting into wrestling.
Oh, I've just spilled cracking everywhere. I fucked it.
What are you doing, man?
Who knows? It's Wednesday night. It's not even Wednesday night. It's Tuesday night. Who knows?
It's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. What day is it?
But yeah,
no, you're right. It's that whole. It's the wrestling vibe. You're right. You're bang on. I've never even thought of it like that. They are the ultimate band for wrestling theme songs.
Yeah, literally, yeah. But there's so many bands of that kind of that metal genre that you hear and you're just like, I don't know. Every single time I hear like the Hardy Boys theme tune, I'm just like, shit.
Yeah, well, it's that it elicits that response, isn't it? It's like they're the songs and themes that you remember.
Yeah.
So
we were talking about this the other day, me and Lee, and like my mum and stuff, like how music can take you back to the exact moment where you were and who with. Like it's like a brief time travel. You'll literally go, oh my god, this song reminds me of when me and Blah were at Blah. And we done this like straight away. You just go straight.
I attach songs to everything. There's always theme song. Like my whole life has like a theme tune to it. Like I attach songs to every like chunk of my life. Any important moment of my life, I'll hear a track and I'll be like, yeah, that's the song I was listening to around. So because I always listen to music. I've always used music as an escape as well, which I'm sure you do. But like if I'm going through a bad time and stuff like that, there's always albums or something that will get me through that. Or even like happy times you attach music to, and you have it's like songs of the summer and stuff, isn't it? You always have songs you attach to the summer and things like that, When
the sun's out and you put a banger on, you just feel amazing. It's simple as that.
Exactly.
Like, you just feel great.
Yeah.
There's certain genres for certain times, like I find obviously I listen to primarily heavier stuff, but like there's some times where I just can't.
Oh yeah, same, right
I just can't.
Yeah.
And like being completely genre unspecific, like you get in the mood for certain things, like like there's been times like I remember we listened to them, for example, like when Polaris dropped their newest album. I listened to it and I loved every single second of it. Jim was like, I'm bored after track 5 or whatever, and I was like, dude, are you in the worst mood ever? I was like, go back and listen again, and the next day he's like, take it all back. Because you have to be in the mood.
You do.
Like, you especially with heavy music, you have to just be vibing. You're like, I need to take this all in, and stuff. Like you've got to be ready for that, and that is why I think
I don't know why they've come to my head, but it's like I think a prime example of that in heavy music is System of a Down. There is a System of a Down I have to be right in the mood for. Like I can't just put them. Whereas like some people might be like that with Slipknot. Whereas like Slipknot, I could just whack on any time of day, and I'm just like cool. I
think where System and Slipknot differ is people didn't understand Slipknot. Whether they did, but they didn't try to. Whereas System come across as a joke, so they just got away with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like singing songs about pizza pie and stuff.
Yeah.
So people didn't care. Whereas because they were just like, people were very thingy. I'm not getting into this Slipknot debate, right? People didn't care for them because they wore masks and jumpsuits and did like dumb shit.
Well, they had that whole dark fucking thing about them, and everybody was like, "Oh no, they're monsters."
People love the horror film. People love the horror film, but didn't understand Slipknot. I'm like, you're watching a live horror film. It's as simple as that. Like, but there's music to go with it. But System of a Down had that instantly. Like, I know everyone loves System of a Down. People that don't even listen to metal.
Yeah, but again, how many people? I don't know. Well, just because I don't doesn't mean there isn't loads of people out there. I'm sure there is. But I don't many people who would just sit and just chill to System as such.
God,
do you know?
I'm just gonna whack on some Sweet Pea. Like,
exactly.
Yeah, just no.
Fucking and shit like that. It's no.
The thing with System as well is a lot of it is is just noise.
Yeah, you're right.
Like,
Yeah.
like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's all just noises.
Yeah.
And like, they're massive.
Oh yeah, they're huge.
Top Suey has got hundreds of millions of.
It's scary how big they are and how long they've not been around. Really, like they haven't been around for a fucking long time.
Mate, the minute they come back, they'll just go like straight back.
Yeah,
literally, like it'll just be like they never went.
If they do, that's a whole conversation. Its own. Them doing a new album.
Well, the thing is, Darren, their guitarist, tried doing his other band, didn't he?
Oh, Scars on Broadway. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and that just goes to show.
But that was literally, if you listen to that album that they did, that is just a System of a Down album, though. Like,
yeah, but it didn't have Surge, though, did it?
No, yeah, I was gonna say it's a System of a Down album of just Darren songs and that's it. Like,
but like System are System because of who they are, though. That's the thing. You might be able to replace the drummer, maybe, but you won't be able to replace Surge or Darren. No way.
No.
It'd be like replacing Corey.
Yeah,
just won't happen.
I was gonna say some bands just have a voice that you can't replace. I mean, sadly, obviously we never wanted like Joey to leave the band. Obviously, Paul passed away and stuff like that, and Slipknot, and fucking the whole shit with Chris and stuff like that. We've had 3 members change out, but I'd say even like you could potentially even swap out Jim. To be fair, but as soon as Corey goes, that's not the same band anymore. Straight away.
No.
It's not.
The thing is, as well, you've got to remember is where I think Slipknot were one of those bands where Corey had to be the voice.
Yeah.
Because he was the voice of this jilted generation of pissed off kids that, you know what I mean? Like he was their voice and he was the band's voice because barely any of them spoke. They'd just come around and stand there and be like, they just wouldn't say anything.
Yeah.
So Clown and Corey have always been the voice of the band.
Yeah.
But like Corey is
I mean more the voices in like obviously the stage voice. Like, you know, he's that vocal to it. Like whose vocal could you put into that spot? I don't think there's anyone, because Corey's voice is so unique. Even now it's not what it used to be, but even now it's
you know his voice. The minute he comes on, you're like, that's Corey's.
That's Corey's out. Exactly.
Literally, Lee is terrible at guessing music, but the minute I put on anything he's in, she's like, that's Corey Taylor. And that's how she'll guess who it is.
Because he has that voice. To be fair, a lot of like metalcore bands and stuff like that, you could play like tracks by different bands. You could potentially get them mixed up, like with the vocal, like quite easy to get them mixed up. Whereas he is like, and there's other examples. Like say Serge Tankian is another example. Speaking of system as well, but like there's certain people who you just can't replicate that voice. They're just so unique, you know. But yeah, anyway, getting back to you. So after the first band. Was Fear the next band? Who's the band that I know, well, not primarily for, but like that was the first band I knew of you being in.
Yeah, Fear was the band I joined after 12 Charge because they saw me play with 12 Charge.
Oh, okay.
I think something like that. But basically, our paths crossed. They saw me playing with them, and then they asked me about, they lost their drummer or they kicked him out, one of the two. And then they asked me to play for them. And I was like, I don't know, because it wasn't really my genre. Like, it was kind of metal, but it was very kind of like emo core metal.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Quite middle of the road metal.
Wasn't fucking heavy, but it weren't soft either. Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of middle of the road metal. And like, bear in mind, I wasn't really even doing, I was doing a bit of writing for my last band, but not a huge amount. And when I joined Fear, I just said about, you know, like doing some writing. I've got some songs and stuff like that. And I ended up joining. I said, look, I'll try it out and see what it's like. But obviously I'm in another band at the minute. And they were like, yeah, cool, no worries, you know, because that band was on a time limit anyway because of them all going to uni. Yeah. So I was like, oh, screw it. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do both bands at the same time. And we both got put on a bill at the same evening. So I played 2 shows in one evening.
Oh, really?
One for 12 Charge, come off, one for Fear, yeah.
Oh, amazing. That's pretty cool.
So that was a grueling night. That was a strange evening as well. That was the night when Dan passed away as well.
Oh, you're joking. Fuck, that was the same night.
Yeah, that was I played the 12 Charge set and then my sister rang me and told me he's been in an accident, and I was just like, oh yeah, whatever. Tell you know, get him to give me a ring later or something, you know, thinking it was just standard.
Yeah.
And then I remember setting up and I was playing on stage for I think that was the fear set. Whoever went second, and my phone just kept ringing, and I could see it.
But you were playing, yeah.
Yeah, and I did the whole set through, and then then I answered, and then that's when I found out the news. But that was where I didn't have a car or anything at that time either, so my parents had to come pick me up with all my gear and stuff and that was basically how that evening went. But that's how I got into fear from the whole 12 charge twist.
That's madness. So what a fucking crazy night then. So obviously like the adrenaline of like actually doing 2 fucking sets for 2 bands and that. Fuck.
Yeah, chaos, man. Yeah, it was pretty. Yeah, it was a whirlwind of emotions, but I think I don't know I feel that kind of like kick-started a different version of myself that night, because obviously when 12 charge didn't go on much further than that, I just ploughed my existence into fear. Like I was writing all the time. I was constantly coming up with ideas, being like, we could try this, guys. Let's try that.
Well, stuff like that. Obviously makes you reassess, doesn't it, of what you're doing with yourself, and when that's what you wanted to. Obviously, being a band and be successful and stuff like that, you're going to throw yourself into it.
Well, that's the thing. I was enjoying it so much to start with, just playing music live in a live environment.
Yeah.
I didn't really care about the success and stuff. I just loved that whole. I love being part of a team, like the team that comes with a band. When you've got 5 people or however many, 4 or 5, whatever people in a band, all on stage doing one bit to a thing like an orchestra does. Like when an orchestra's all together, it sounds unbelievable.
Yeah.
Take one of them out and play on their own, it's not the same.
It's not the same, no.
And it's just like that's exactly the same as like with a band. Like when you've got the 2 guitars together doing harmonies, and then the bass giving the locking in with the drummer, it all just comes together. And it just being part of that whole production I just loved it. And I got the taste for it with Fear, and that's where I just started like I say, producing, recording stuff. Like I got like a proper recording studio, like experience with Fear for the first time. And then it just went from there. Basically, did that EP and toured it and stuff, and that was where I transitioned over to like I was writing a lot, and it was becoming a lot heavier, the music in general.
Yeah, because I've actually only ever seen you play once, and the only time I ever saw you play was at the Arts Centre, when you did that little reunion show with them.
Yeah, that was a little reunion. Yeah, that was where where Fear kind of hit a brick wall for me. It was around that time of summer and everyone's hanging out, and we had such a big friends group at the time. Like it was other things were taking priorities.
Yeah.
And it felt like.
Well, how old were you then as well when you were with those guys?
I don't know, maybe 21.
Exactly. I mean, when you're like 21, it's like when you're starting to work shit out and people are moving off to different things, and that's when people are sort of in that point of their life, isn't it? You're around that age.
Yeah, so. The band was kind of like a central hub of everyone at that time as well. Like there was other bands around at the time, like Rob Clarke, his band, Raise These Sails.
Of course, yeah.
He was in his band. He was in Raise These Sails. We were always hanging around, us two, and like we'd be playing shows together. If we weren't playing shows, we were, house parties or whatever together. But like that whole clique was very important to like how everything was socially. Everyone was hanging out and going to the Fear show, going to the Raise These Sails show, and all like that. We were always supporting each other and stuff. And Battle of the Bands was huge.
It makes me sad that I didn't know you then, because like it'd have been cool. And it makes me sad that I didn't fucking know you then.
Yeah,
so.
It was such a great time, like massive friends group. Everyone was just like hanging out. It was great. And the whole Fear thing kind of spiraled into kind of other things I took, like people would it was just becoming very casual, and like obviously where I was pummeling, I was losing sleep over like the band, because I was coming up with ideas at like 2 a.m. and stuff. Like I'd get up and I'd get my phone out. And
so become an obsession kind of thing, more than It
was one of them things where like I didn't have a creative on and off switch, and I've never have, and that's, I think, as much as it's a blessing, it is a curse at the same time, because sometimes you can't switch off.
Yeah.
And there'll be times where, especially like I felt it fairly recently doing my YouTube channel and stuff, when you're in a creative mindset, you can't turn off. And that was where I was feeling with Fear, and it was becoming
Oh, no, exactly what you mean. It's even like for this, it's like I'm just thinking of, because this is from obscurity, it's just like, who can I get on here who would be, good to chat to and stuff like that. And you're constantly just mulling over ideas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you mean.
That has lost charge quick.
Oh God, We've got technical difficulties.
That's right.
Oh no, are you having to text for a charger?
Maybe.
Maybe, yeah, cool. So how long were you actually with them in the end? How long was it before you actually ended up splitting up?
We ended up going down that route about, I guess when I was 23ish, I think was when I was doing my kind of last shows, because that's how Fake Komodo actually ended up coming along, because I was doing Fear, and they'd seen me play locally and stuff.
Yeah.
And I knew the drummer of Fake Komodo at that time, and he ended up ringing me, being like, "Dude, I need a big favour." And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I need you to fill in for Fake Komodo for me." I was like, "All right." I was like, "What's the show?" And he said, "No, literally for a year."
Oh,
and
shit.
I was like, "Jesus Christ." I was like, "What have you done? Have you lost an arm?" And he was basically, he had RSI, repetitive strain.
Yeah.
So he literally couldn't move one of his arms. And he could barely cut his meal. And it basically meant that he needed me to fill in for their time. And that was where kind of, again, I was juggling two bands. I had Fear and then Faye.
Yeah.
But
those guys aren't still playing, are they, by the way?
No. I played their last show.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and their last tour, yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Coming back around, there was rumours of them coming back around to do little bits and bobs, but there was nothing set in stone. They didn't really do anything.
Because they supported like Fight Star and stuff, right? At one point.
Yeah, they done loads of stuff. They played Sonosphere, they played Download.
Yeah, I remember them taking off at a point because my friend Perry, you know Perry, he was like massively into him. So was Jake Fletcher. Jake was huge into him.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so she's getting a charger.
Yeah, she's getting it.
Oh, okay.
They were that band in the scene that everyone just saw live, and they just upped their game every time.
Yeah.
They had the lights.
I remember Perry coming back from one of their gigs when they supported Fight Star, and they played the Waterfront, I think. Have I lost you? Oh, no. Oh, God. I'm going to have to edit this. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so that shit's not easy to edit, so he lost connection. Now I'm talking to you, and now we're going to go back to him, and we'll carry on, and just pretend nothing happened, eh? Nothing. Nothing happened at all. Anyway, as I was saying, before we got rudely interrupted, I was saying that when they were touring with Fight Star, I remember Perry going to one of their shows in I think it was the Waterfront in Norwich, and they fucking blew the sound for Fight Star, and I remember Perry having the biggest fucking hard on coming back from that gig. He was like, "They fucking blew the sound system." Shit.
Really?
Oh, dude, he was big into Fake Komodo. He was big into Fake Komodo. Loved him.
That's mad. Mad. That's the thing. That's the weird thing as well. Like going through that thing where you do your own thing and then your paths cross and you end up in a different world completely.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know any of them, any of their friends or anything. I went in completely blind and ended up doing, like I say, their last year and a bit of their touring and stuff. And I was obviously working at the time, but Fear had slowed down so much. I had plenty of time.
Yeah.
But like that was where I got a real look into what it's like to actually be in a band. Like I thought I knew with Fear, like what it was like to be in a band.
Yeah.
That was, mate, that weren't even casual in comparison. Like these guys were like, they had calendars, they had stuff set out, they had like everything was like set list stuff. They had
like, I'm assuming like Fear didn't have any merch or anything like that. I'm assuming
got a couple of bits towards the end. Yeah, we got a couple of little bits towards the end. Yeah. So we had some pretty decent bits towards the end that we'd sell at shows and stuff, and just to get a few bob and that. But it was very casual. But then obviously, like I say, I joined Fake Komodo and got a real taste of like what it's like to be in like a semi-professional band. You know, like playing shows to people I don't know.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like, you know, they're having their merch, even their merch stuff was, you know, like, and their label and everything like that. Like they had, I remember like they'd give you, like, basically you'd have like money to spend on food. Like,
oh, wow. So you have like a pocket money?
Yeah.
Go for dinner.
Yeah, I can't remember what they call it now. I can't remember what they call it. yeah, basically, like that was the tour, the Fake Komodo bloody Weatherspoons tour. That was like literally we'd go in, we'd set out, we'd sound check, we'd pack it away, move it aside, and then all go to Weatherspoons.
Oh, amazing!
That was it.
Yeah,
literally like after pretty much every show, and then after every sound check before the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, because obviously you can get like a beer and a burger for like £7 or whatever. So.
Yeah.
PDs or something, I think they call them. I can't
do you remember
now.
Weatherspoons? I remember Weatherspoons.
Yeah, I remember Weatherspoons. I'm going to get jugs and just pour them on my head.
Yeah, I'm saying when we're out of here, I'm just going to fucking guzzle everything.
Steve,
Look, I was holding two big old dicks on the video, just guzzling them. That's awesome. Yeah, no, that's that. I was gonna say that's a hell of a jump then. Obviously, and considering you just filling, is that obviously then where the hook was really fucking in? Then I assume at that point.
That was where things really changed for me mentally as well, because I was just like, this is it. This is what I want to do.
Yeah.
Like, because this is, like I remember I went to the first show I played for those guys. Well, basically they gave me 8 songs to learn, and I learned 6 in a week.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went in and played with those guys, and I played basically 6 of their songs back to back with them, and they were just like, okay, like they were like that was pretty much bang on to the track kind of thing.
Yeah,
because that's one thing I've always been good at, is like being able to listen to something and play it.
Yeah, I've witnessed this. Yeah.
yeah. Well, yeah. So like that's what I've always been good at. So when they kind of got that, they were like, this guy can play these tracks like real quick. So they gave me another 3, I think it was, and then I ended up having like a 9-song or an 8-song set list. But yeah, like it was tough, but like obviously being a postman, I had loads of time. So as soon as I got out on delivery, in went my headphones, and I just had then tracks on loop over and over, all 7 of them, just going round and round and round, just so I could learn the structure. Because that's the thing, that the hardest part is knowing where the song goes, and then you learn how it gets there. Like the intricacy parts, the intricacy comes second. It's because you have to learn what goes in what sections. But yeah, like that's how I kind of got the taste of it. And then I remember the first show, I can't remember where it was now for the life of me, but Lee was there. And
with Fake Komodo?
Yeah.
Oh, so you'd met Lee when you were touring for them?
No, I met Lee on tour with Fear.
Oh, it was with Fear you met Lee. Oh, yeah. I thought you met Lee when you were touring with Vanity.
We were in Wakefield. We met them.
I knew you were in Wakefield, but we've never said what band. Whenever we've spoke about this, it was never what band you were with. I just assumed it was Hey Vanity.
Yeah, it was Fear, man.
Oh fuck!
One of the
okay.
Tours we did with Fear, yeah, that was one of them ones. And but yeah, she came to a show, a Fake Komodo show, and it was obviously the first time she'd seen me play to a sizable crowd as well. So I remember like I'd sound checked, and I went downstairs, and I had my phone in my hand to like message her or speak to her or ring her. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I went down the stairs, and I looked to the left and just saw a massive queue of people, and I was like, oh. And I looked at her, I was like, oh,
there she is.
Yeah. I was in like, what? I thought, oh, what's this queue of people for?
Oh.
And then I remembered, I was just like, we're in there.
We're in there. They're coming to see us. Do the thing. Yeah.
The weird thing with Faye is obviously it wasn't my band, and I was a fill-in, so I really didn't want to make a big deal out of it.
Because you were filling.
Yeah, it was more of an experience for me. But like the guys were always so good about it. They always included me, like with the photos, with the sign-ins and stuff. Like I wouldn't sign anything because I'm nobody. But like they'd always slide it down to me, like one of the boys. Like if they were like, "Oh, can you guys all sign this? Can we all have a photo?" And he was like, "Ash, getting the photo and stuff." Like they were really good about like appreciating.
Of course. Well, at the end of the day, I assume you become friends with all of them at that point as well, because you're touring together. So
yeah. That is the thing. Like I knew of the guys, but I didn't know them. The guitarist, the Fake Komodo, was the guy who I recorded Fear's EP with.
Oh, okay.
So
right.
That's how I got to know him, and obviously he saw me in that studio environment and knew what I was all about. And then they always saw me playing stuff, but that's how that whole thing came around, and that's how I ended up filling in for Faye. But yeah, like we all became friends through that, and you got to be like a certain type of person to be able to tour with the same people as well for like 2 weeks straight.
Yeah, Well, it's like this. You're with the same people every day. You're not necessarily, you don't necessarily know each other. You're not necessarily friends as such. You know, yeah.
But the thing is, as well, is where I'd kind of been scared to make changes and go into stuff. It got to the point with when I got that fake Modo thing. I thought, you know what, fuck it. Like, I'm just going in. I don't know any of them, whatever. Like, I remember I was super nervous when I went in because I didn't have any expectation. So I didn't know what they were expecting of me. Like, I went in with 6 thinking that they want 8. So I did the 6 and they were like, dude, we were expecting like 4. And I was just like, oh. So, yeah. So, that was a relief, obviously because they want to be able to get this thing back together like it didn't happen and then carry on. And that was nice, obviously. And that was where I started feeling kind of value to my playing, and that was another thing with Fear as well, is I kind of feel like I'd hit this brick wall with my playing. I felt like I'd become a good metal drummer, but that was about it.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't like someone they'd consider to fill in for anything other than metal, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And like joining the Fake Modo stuff, it allowed me to kind of, I was playing stuff I'd never played before musically, but like technical wise as well. Some of the stuff was so technical and so much more like about feel than what I'd been doing with Fear.
Yeah.
And being in a band where I didn't have to think about anything as well was strange, because I've gone from thinking of everything to nothing.
Well, obviously I'm assuming you didn't do any writing for Faye or anything like that. It was literally purely, you're going to play these 8 songs or whatever, and that's it, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yep. That was the first time I'd played to a click track live as well for a band. Like I'd done it in the studio, obviously, like a metronome.
Yeah.
But like basically they mapped the set out in a live environment, because they have like back-in stuff, like back-in hard chords and stuff.
Yeah.
So they basically split the audio, so I could have a click in my ears and I'd have in-ear monitors, and then the sound of the synths and stuff would go out front.
Yeah.
So that was basically how things mapped out. But it was so weird because in my ears the click was going for the whole set. So even while he's talking in the middle going, "Hi guys, we're Fake Modo, yeah, we've got merch over the back and stuff," like I know when the next song's coming and stuff because I've got it in my ears.
Got it in your ear.
I'm like, come on, let's wrap this up.
Yeah,
I'm like, you're waffling. I'm like, here comes the song.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
We ain't got time.
Here we go. Let's go. Like, go straight into the song. But it was pressure for sure, because if anything went wrong technically, you're screwed. Because if you miss that click for a moment, all of the synths come in at the wrong time and everything like that. It was chaos.
Did you prefer playing to a click, or do you prefer playing just off ear, or have you not done that? Have you always played to a click?
No, it completely depends on the genre, I think, personally. Like with Hey Vanity, I didn't play to a click because it was the kind of genre you could just vibe.
Well, it's a lot slower.
It was just rock. It was just rock. It didn't need to be anything specific. You could kind of feel when stuff was too fast because it wouldn't have the groove. It wouldn't have the groove. But with metal, if you played metal too fast, holy shit, you knew about it. Because you'd come into a bit and your feet would be like...
You fit. But how many times have we watched it? Again, going back to Slipknot, because like always, but how many times have you watched Slipknot live? It's like, it's like, no, you're going way too fast. And like fucking, they do it all the time now. Like Jay does it constantly. Jay's just like, right, off we go. It's like, fuck.
Literally. He'll start Heretic Anthem, dun 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 dun. By the time the verse comes in,
it's like, okay, fuck.
Like 40 BPM, he's just literally just going for it. Yeah,
fucking tears.
But no, I think with metal it helped because it slowed you down, because stage adrenaline is a huge thing.
Yeah,
like what the set kind of flows into one. So say you play one song at a fast pace, the next song may feel slow, but it's probably still faster than the original track.
Right,
the last track. Yeah. Because the last track was so fast.
Yeah.
So that's the thing where you're going up and down like that. It's really, you've got to have a really good like ear for this is too fast, to put it back and bring it down a bit slower. But the click definitely helped with that. But like if there was any sound mix up, you're screwed.
It's game over.
We were doing a festival, and we were playing away. I thought it was like 3rd or 4th song in, and everything was going swimmingly. And then Mark come in singing the second verse on the first verse.
Oh no.
So it threw me off, and all the boys started playing the second verse.
Oh.
So they went into the wrong section. So then I'm trying to catch the click, and I'm looking around at the boys. I'm like, boys, we're well off here. And Mike is literally playing guitar, going, cut it. And I'm literally like that, because the synths are going to come in and mean jack shit as well. They're going to come in and be like, wee, at the point where they're not even meant to be. So I'm trying to play away, and I'm just literally yank the wire out of the headset. Just so no sound went out front. Wing the rest of the song, and then plugged it back in and carried on from where we left off.
Oh, fucking hell. What, you just finished the track? Like, you didn't...
I was still playing. Just yanked it out, carried on playing the track with the boys, got the song done, and then plugged it back in.
Yeah.
Went from there, went from the next place on the set.
Oh, fuck. Like, so because the lead man fucking fucked the vocal, basically, he just fucking screwed it all up.
It threw us all off, because he'd come in with the second verse, and as soon as we heard those lyrics,
you're like,
that verse ends differently.
Yeah.
So then we were screwed, mate. We were screwed. I was like, oh no. And literally, luckily we managed to wing it. Like, to us, it was a train wreck.
Yeah.
But to
the common person, this is I was gonna say, this is the thing. It's like, to people who just listen to music and aren't necessarily don't see the behind the scenes and what builds like a verse up. You know, the hook and all that stuff. You know. You don't hear that stuff necessarily. You don't hear the fuck up so bad. You might get a little tinge of like, okay, that's overlapping a little bit, but then that goes away quick, and you're like, oh, okay, that's fine. But
that is the thing. I think as a musician, you're always self-critical, and you're always. It's like, they can't explain it. It's like, especially when you're running in-ear monitors, you can hear everything super clearly. So when you're hearing in in-ear monitors like and stuff, like, you hear the mistakes and you hear the things. So it's like listening to a set with a mic, like, well, you know, under a mic, you know, real, like, just zoomed in. Like, people can't make mistakes because you'll hear it all.
Yeah.
You know, like, a lot of the time the front man would come to me and be like, was my voice all right on that set? I was like, yeah, man, you killed it. Like, I could hear it all. It was sick. He goes, I wasn't feeling that at all. And I was just like, no, man, you were smashing it.
Yeah.
So, like, sometimes it's there for good, sometimes it's there for bad. But it was a blessing and a curse. Again, like, being able to hear all the mistakes was a bit like, oh. But then at the same time, you could hear yourself on a different level. And when you were smashing it, holy shit, it felt amazing.
Yeah.
When you're playing the set of your life, and you're like, I'm absolutely killing this.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like, again, it's like that. It's, again, just because I can't compare it musically, but it's like playing video games. It's like when you're playing like fucking COD or something, and you're having, and like all 5 of you on your team are fucking destroying, and you're all like, we're fucking in the groove, then the next game you fuck it up. It's the same thing. It's the same, like,
skill-based matchmaking comes in.
Yeah,
goes,
like,
have some of that.
Exactly. Whereas just like playing a set with a hangover, I'm assuming is literally like skill-based matchmaking. It comes in and it fucking punches you in the face, and you're like, oh no, I fucked everything up.
Yeah, man, that is there's a certain level of, if you have a couple of drinks and go on stage, you'll normally find that you're better because you're relaxed.
Yeah.
Going on stage battered is just a.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's going on stage after a heavy night and you can't move. It's like, nah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Normally the drinking goes after, but like you'd have a couple of drinks, go on stage, and feel like loose. And that's the thing. If you were looser, you would groove it much better, and you'd be a lot less pressure on yourself. You know.
Yeah.
You just go straight into it. But it was there was some nutty times like that. But like the click was a good it was kind of like my spine.
Yeah.
Kind of
held you together, sort of thing.
Held me together, and which held the band together, and stuff like that. But
so
yeah, good stuff.
Through Faye, then, is that how you met the guys in Hey Vanity, or did you meet them elsewhere? Or
two of the guys in Faye started Hey Vanity.
Oh, okay.
With me,
right?
So when I was basically, what had happened, towards the end of Faye Komodo, there was like, well, to be fair, it wasn't always going to end. They were debating carrying Faye Komodo on, but with a massive genre twist.
Okay.
So I'll say massive, but like more, like it was different. So
like a Bring Me the Horizon kind of twist, like we're still heavy, but we're not, sort of thing. Yeah.
It was definitely still heavy, but not to what like metal, like metal riffages, like it were. But basically, they showed me these tracks and was just like, would you be interested in anything like this? So I was like, yeah, man. Like, and they played me some demos, and like their writing is so good. Like I was just like, these tracks are sick. Why would I not want to do this? Like, and that was how things come around, and we started jamming a couple of the tracks, and they started coming together. And then that was where everyone kind of come together and thought, like, Fake Modo isn't going to do, it's not going anywhere. Which was a shame. It got to the point where they kind of hit a wall. With,
I was
like,
just saying, did they
management.
just taper off at the end? Like I said, I didn't even know if they were still like a thing
Yeah.
or not. Or...
It was managed. There was a huge management issue. There was a label issue. You know, their album got hugely delayed because of stuff like that. So they really, they were smashing it, and they were doing Download, Not Say, Sonosphere, and that's when the album needed to drop, and it didn't. It came like 3 years later. So just a massive mix up on that part, which really screwed them over, really. So that's when the guys realised, you know, like the guitarist was like, we need to bin this. And then that's when the talks of Hey Vanity come around. And we grafted in a bassist, and that's how things came around from that. But they said, you know, would you still be up for it, starting something new with us? So I was like, yeah, man, sweet. So that's where we, how we kind of filtered from metal into Hey Vanity stuff. Like,
so this is obviously the point then when you're in a band, and the touring is your own, and the songs are your own, and everything like that, right? And then. Yeah. So I'm guessing you were writing. You did a bunch of writing for these guys and stuff like that, right?
I did some bits, but like the guys, Mark and Will from Faye were like, they were like a mate, like a train. They were just pounding songs out left, right. And
really?
center.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like it was. They've always done it. Like Mark just lives and breathes music, and Will's like an insanely good guitarist, and he's got such weird shaped fingers that he can do these chords that just sound amazing but look disgusting. Like. Those guys always worked well together as well. So we were actually using songs to start with that were going to be that Fake Modo genre twist. Right. So that's how Hey Vanity began, with a song called Colours and Signs, which is on YouTube still. And we basically did that, and that was how we kind of genred in. And that was our first song we did together as Hey Vanity, and then we dropped our EP. And like, then we gradually started just drifting towards more like just rock and roll, you know, just like rock or whatever, as opposed to metal.
Yeah.
But a lot of the Fake Modo fans were displeased with the change in genre from Mark and Will. Obviously, like I had nothing to say about it because it was a new band to me, but you know, that baggage was always going to come across, I think.
Well, totally. When one band ends and, you know, the remnants of that goes and does something entirely different, where people are probably still expecting them to pick up where that band left off. You know, there's that expectation.
Why would a band quit in the first place if they're just going to do the same genre?
But yeah, exactly. I mean, it goes to that Scars on Broadway comparison we just did earlier on. It's like, why do a second band where you're literally doing songs that you'd have done with the other guys on your own, you know? You're defeating the object.
That is the thing. Like, as well as a lot of the time, you'll find that another band will begin with old members because either they weren't getting on, or they've kind of hit that wall with that genre. They kind of like, I've had enough of metal now. I want this genre. And sometimes they go to it and be like, this sucks.
Yeah.
And then come back.
Yeah.
But like, you know, like there's anomalies like Bring Me the Horizon, which sound like a completely different band every album, but smash it every time, and it baffles me. I don't know how, but they could bring out literally a trance album next week and people would love it.
Well, they brought out that album. They dropped an album like around Christmas, I think, which was like some weird. Again, it was like a trance album, I guess. Really, it was really fucking weird, to be fair. But
so much electronic now,
so much, completely just away from what they were doing originally. Like when you go from what they were originally doing to what they're doing now, it's like night and day.
Mate, if you listen to their EP,
yeah,
this is what the edge of your seat is made for. Up to now, you're like, I don't get it, but they smash it. Like I can't do anything but tip my hat because they just nail it every time, every single time.
It's bizarre. It's bizarre. I mean, going back, obviously, like Linkin Park was the same example. You think of them as like, I remember they were like the first band that I really listened to that did that, where it was like. They just went and did a 180 on what they were doing before and just went the other way. And it was like, what the fuck? And I was, again, when I was younger, I hated that. And it was like, why the fuck have you done this? This isn't what we like, blah, blah. Whereas like now, I actually enjoy all of their albums. Like even their like latest album, which was really, really soft in comparison. Like I really like that album. And that's because your taste matures and you appreciate more styles and stuff like that. But
I think the weird thing with music as well is like people moan when a band changes, but then when they release an album that sounds the same as the one before, they moan.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you want? What do you want then?
Yeah, what do you actually want?
Should we just sit here in silence? What do you want?
Yeah.
Like literally, like you'll bring out an album that sounds literally like chapter 2 of the album you've just done, and people piss on it.
I think the problem with that is like the general consensus, like there's people who are people who like music, and then there's people who are into music. Do you know what I mean? And the people who,
of course,
the people who like music are the ones who make all that noise, and they're like, why have you done that, sort of thing. Yeah. Then there's people who are into music and listen to music. Do you know what I mean? Like actually listen.
There's definitely that void. There's definitely that void.
Between, there's no. I don't think there's a middle ground with it either. You're not like in between. You're either one way or the other. Of like, you know, music's just kind of a thing that's in your life, or there's music where like, again, you love music, and music you attach to things and stuff like that. You know. So, I don't think there's much of a middle ground.
There's those, absolutely. There's those two sides. There's the guys that understand they're getting older, their music taste is changing, they want to do something a bit different. And then there's the other side. It's like, why is this not the same album as the one before?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's like when you're 15, right? Like Bring Me the Horizon are the perfect example of it. When those dudes were like in their teens to early 20s, and the stuff that they were throwing out, life is completely different. They've got no success. They're listening to like this thrash metal stuff probably themselves. They're like, oh yeah, well, again, like what you even said it yourself earlier. You want to play like that. They made that stuff, and then they get older and they listen to new stuff, and they're like, oh, I'm listening to all this stuff I never used to listen to. And then you start dabbling, and you're like, oh, actually, this is cool. I want to try this now, you know. And you go off and you do different things.
Everyone's first band is a clone of the music they're listening to at the time.
Exactly.
Everyone's.
Exactly.
Literally, you start writing riffs that are literally almost rip-offs of your favourite bands.
Well, that's it. Like mad shit happens in life as well. Like, you know, these bands, today, these people in these bands, they're all human beings. People pass away in their lives, children are born, lose jobs, lose girlfriends, all that sort of stuff. Go through financial troubles, all sorts of bits and pieces. And that can completely swing, like, the kind of music you want to make and the kind of lyrics you write in and stuff like that. Completely change it.
Well, that's the thing. There's bands like Architects that went off path. They wrote that Here and Now album.
Yeah, and that didn't work.
That did not work.
No.
But there was some tracks in there I still liked, and I was like, this album's getting battered. And then it took them. Sometimes it takes them that one album or whatever to go, and then they reassess, reevaluate, and then bring out their best music they've ever brought out.
Exactly. But the albums after that aren't even, to be fair, they're not even comparable to like their first album. Either they're still way different. They're still way different albums. Yeah. Like they're not the same. They're still in that. They're in that heavier route again, but they're not the same kind of heavy. Like Follow the Water and stuff like that is completely different to like Doomsday. Like those two tracks are complete polar opposites, really.
The weird thing with Architects as well is they're one of them bands. I remember seeing them live with Jim, and I was like, these are shit.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I thought they were crap because it was literally they had their one album, that first album, not Ruin. I always forget what it's called. Their first album, which was literally like mathcore, and bear in mind, I didn't know who they were.
Yeah, okay.
Anything about them, and on stage, I just couldn't make out what was happening. It was like it was like, have they just fallen over their instruments? It made no sense.
Yeah.
But then obviously things changed. That's when they lost that front man, and then Sam joined.
Oh, okay.
And that's when they.
Oh, this is pre-Sam you're talking about as well. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then they brought out the Ruin album, which was techie, but to the point of that it was accessible still.
Mm-hmm.
So like the riffs were kind of techie, but then Sam had that really aggressive voice that like it just it demanded your attention the minute he started like screaming. And then he brought the cleans to the party, and everyone was like, "Oh, okay.
This dude can sing too," sort of thing. Yeah.
And that's where things came along, and that's what got me into Architects was Ruin.
But it's funny because like I think everybody's got one of those bands who they first hear and they hate, and then like down the line they're like, actually, I love this band. Like Enter Shikari is that for me. I fucking hated Enter Shikari. Their first, it's funny because I adore their first album. Like I fucking love that album. It's great. Again, it reminds me of university. That album. I used to play Halo Reach listening to that album. Again, you attach stuff to stuff you're doing, don't you? But yeah, like when they first come on the scene, though, I fucking hated them. I was like, no, they've got electronics in their songs and they're fucking shit and all this stuff. And then like a couple of years later, I think I saw them live at Reading, and I was like, oi. I was like, oi, this is fucking great live. And then I listened to the album again properly. Because again, you can hear a song, but you don't necessarily listen to it. You don't take in what the lyrics are. You don't take in what the actual song is saying. And then you listen to it and you're like, oh, actually, this is fucking great. And
again, it all goes back to, man, how you are, like how you're feeling, how much of a music sponge you are at that time. Because I hated Deftones, hated them. I remember my hatred.
Yeah.
Back to School would come on Kerrang, and I'd
like,
drop it on my telly.
Yeah.
I'd be like, this is shit.
Yeah.
How does anyone like this?
Now you're like.
and then years went by, and then I remember listening to Diamond Eyes album, and I was like, oi.
Yeah.
I was like, that's when things changed.
But it's amazing, like that album though, I bet made you go back then, and you were like, actually, I was wrong.
Yeah, mate, White Pony and stuff like that. And like,
exactly.
That's where we got the name Hey Vanity from, a Deftones song.
Oh, really?
Around the third. Yeah. The first lyric is Hey Vanity.
Yeah, Hey Vanity. Yeah. Fuck. I wouldn't have even clocked that. That's great.
That's the name where we got that from, because we were all obsessed with Deftones at that point. Like that was when
they're a real interesting band as well. Like
Koi No Yokan.
Koi No Yokan was just the album after Diamond Eyes, wasn't it?
That's the album. We were touring with Hey Vanity when that album came out, and we were all pounding it like with the claps.
Oh yeah, oh fuck! What track is that?
But like
it's
yeah. And that was where like that whole album like come along. We were like, this is sick as well. Like, proper like vibey, and that was the tour we got to see him live as well. Yeah, I remember you saying you went to one of their shows. Yeah. Well, we played the same arena, just the second room. Yeah. So we played the second room, and then we went to the big room, and we just flashed our passes and went in and saw Let Live and Deftones. Oh, amazing. What a fucking show. Let Live were another one for me. I weren't into them to start. I got into Let Live. I was really disappointed, actually, because I got into them really late. I got into them just before they split. Literally, I'm talking like probably about 2 months before they split, and then they were like, no, we're done. And I was like... Was it the album with Banshee on? That one? That was literally their last album, dude. Like, they split. Oh, the last one? Holy so I got into them 2 months before they split. So, like, this is like right at the end that I got into them, and then I was like, oh, I'm never going to see them now. Cool. Yeah, great. Well, the thing is, with Let Live, I listened to them. I can't remember what the album's called now. But it's their second album. The one with Mother on it and stuff like that. Yeah, that one. Yeah. That was the one that got me into it. And then Blacklist Beautiful come out as well. And I remember when like Jim's a hard sod to please, and when Blacklist come out, he was like, "This is the shit." Yeah. And I was just like, "Yeah, this is big." Blacklist come out, that had Banshee on it and stuff, and that was big. And then they did that kind of genre change album. They went a bit softer, didn't they? Knocked it down a peg, and that's when things just kind of cut off. And, that's when that band are no more, which is a shame. Well, we've got Fever now, but they're fucking fantastic. Yeah, but... they're a lot more of a like Rage Against the Machine meets Let Live. Yeah, Jason just suits that kind of aggression. Yeah, he does, especially live. Like he's got such a presence. That guy. He's insane. Absolutely mental. His range as well vocally is like. Where are you from? He's got that ability to just go all the way up and go all the way down. Like he's one of those guys, man. He's an anomaly for sure. Like he's one of those guys you just can't help but listen to. You know, like I said to you, I saw him live, and same as when we saw King. You know, they can just silence a room. Literally, like the minute they start talking, they're not even talking loudly, and you can hear every single word. I was going to say, King silent. King is exactly this. Obviously, we talk about bands that you listen to. I mean, sometimes you do need to see a band live, I think. Sometimes some bands are just a live band. They draw you in, and then you can go back and listen to the recording. Like, we listened to a bit of King stuff. I remember when they were touring with Slipknot and Korn, and obviously we went to that in Birmingham. And both of us, I think we listened to them beforehand, didn't we? We were like, nah, don't think I hadn't heard them at all. Had you not heard them at all? I had. I was going on your opinion and Rob's opinion, because you were both just like, I was just a bit like, I just didn't. I heard Kill 'Em All. And it's funny because now I love Kill 'Em All. I heard Kill 'Em All, and I was like, God, I don't know about it, because his vocal's very different. It's a very different vocal. But then when I saw him live and you see the presence and everything like that, and you're like, okay, I get it now. Sometimes you just need to get it with a band as well. They're one of those bands where you just need to
see them and get an understanding of them, and then you're like, oh, okay, I can let the music in now, you know?
Yeah, I think the thing is as well is when you go and see a band live and they instantly make you want to know more as
Yeah.
well. That's the thing. Like I think because I went in there expecting nothing, I just absorbed the whole lot.
Yeah.
Like it was like there was a definite message there, but it was more like it's just drive. It was just such like almost like a chant in place, like just dun 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 dun. Do you know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
so. It was just it. I was just listening to them. I'd never heard anything they'd done. I didn't have a clue where they were from, what they did, and I was like, wow, like these guys have come out to a stadium that's maybe a quarter full and absolutely pounded it to pieces.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like they, like you say, there was people still filing in. Obviously, they were on first, and like
there was gaps all over the floor.
Yeah.
It was probably
but they just went
full at max.
in. Like they just went in.
Like the place was for them full headline show.
Yeah.
They just went absolutely off, and I was like, wow, these guys are legit.
Yeah, it still upsets me. They're not as big as they should be. I don't think. I think they're
one of them niche bands, man.
Undersold. Oh, for sure. I saw a YouTube video the other day. It was like the 10 most hated metal bands, and they were in it.
I've seen that.
And I was like,
list, yeah.
I was like, really? But obviously, it was an American video, so I'm assuming. I guess to be fair, their message is very divisive. I assume as well. I say their message is even such a message. Their songs are more stories of like their surrounding and stuff like that, and what they've grown up in and whatever. It's not necessarily they're saying go out and shoot people, but it's like we've grown up around this, and this is what we live in. And
but that's the thing, though. That's the thing I think where people miss the message is like they're not telling you to go and get a gun and shoot your mate. They're saying I grew up with a friend that got shot right in front of me.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Like that is the point that people are missing is like.
They're trying to send the message out of where they're living shouldn't be how it is. They're not saying it should be like this. Yeah.
The insight to that band made me watch that Netflix show, that Flint.
Oh, the
Netflix
Flint
show.
Town. Yeah.
And Flint Town, and like just having a look, like the insight of where people have to live, and it baffles me that shit like that exists. And King was one of them things that come a lot, like you know, like all music, it makes you connect in a different way. It was emotional in a completely different way to like Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror. It was a complete different emotion. Like these guys have been through hell, literally.
Yeah. And
now they're telling us about it. It doesn't mean we've got to go and do it, but you know what it's like. Anything semi-aggressive, people jump on board and they're like, oh, they're preaching about killing and stuff. And I'm like,
no,
I mean, that's debatable. It's debatable.
Debatable. I mean, yeah, debatable. I mean, but it's not when you actually look at it properly. And I think that's it. That is again difference between people who see what their songs are saying and the people who have actually listened to it and like studied their music and stuff like that. It's different.
The thing with this day and age though as well is people want different. Then different comes along and they brush it under the carpet.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what do you want? What do you want from music? What do you want? Like when something like that comes along and it's so fresh and it makes you want to know why they're there, how they got there, who
has that mystique anymore? Do you know what I mean?
This is what I mean. This is what I mean. Like that used to happen all the time with like Prince and Michael Jackson and the
Slipknot
Beatles and stuff. Slipknot and and even through the ages, the bands that had that vibe that made you couldn't get enough.
Yeah.
King was one of them bands. Like I was obsessed with them from that point. Like I was like, I need to know everything about these guys like yesterday.
Yeah.
Because it just interested me so much that they could come out of such a shithole and do that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like that is what I just could not get my head around. I was like, well, one, you're all good at your instrument. How?
Yeah.
For a start.
Who taught you?
Yeah. Going, do you know what I mean? They're playing like they were tight.
Yeah.
With electronics and everything. And I was just like, how does that happen from somewhere where literally like 1 in 8 houses is occupied?
Yeah.
The other 7 are unoccupied.
Yeah.
Like poisoned water.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Like it just how does it come around? And I'm just interested. Like as soon as something comes around like that, I'll just latch on.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what's going on here?
Exactly. It's mad. Anyway, let's if we circle back. We were talking about you and Hey Vanity. We circle back.
But this is more interesting.
Oh, it is, but yeah, we're here to talk about you though. Kind of. So hey Vanity. So I don't even remember what point we got at. Oh yeah, you just joined the band. So How long in until you started touring and stuff like that, and like how long the touring and stuff
Not
lasts
long,
before?
not long at all. We'd already had stuff lined up before the band had even played a show.
So you were like a whirlwind then. So how long were you actually in Hey Vanity?
Start to finish.
No, I mean how long, like time wise?
2.5 maybe.
So, because obviously in that time and stuff, you're in Kerrang and stuff, like, you know, it's obviously like looking up at a point and whatever. So,
well, we did. I think we'd been together 3 months, and then we basically managed to get really lucky and blag the.
I was just said blag away.
We managed to open the Don Broco's 2-week headline tour.
Right.
At the point, the whole thing was sold out other than 2 shows. So we were like, this is great. Like, literally, like, there's no one there that's going to know who we are. So this is completely new people every night. This is amazing. And then Mallory Knox got announced and us. So that was it. The other 2 shows sold out like that because of the Mallory Knox fans.
Yeah.
So we had 2 weeks. After being together for 3 months, we had a 2-week tour. Every single night was to the wall to wall of people we didn't know. So we had a really, really fortunate start, like that. You know, I'm really thankful for, because it was some of the best shows I've experienced. Like being able to play, you know, like the sizes and stuff, and it went on to other things as well. You know, we got some festival slots and stuff from it. You know, which was amazing for a band that had been together like for 2 seconds.
Yeah. Well, I guess that was kind of riding the coattails a little bit of Fake Modo as well, because obviously the guys had left that and stuff, and they were like, okay, what are these dudes doing now and whatever.
Yeah, that was the thing where we needed to be careful though, as well, because the boys were prepared to use that, but they didn't want every interview to be about Fake Modo.
Yeah.
So like, as much as they were like, yeah, you know, we used to do Fake Modo, but Hey Vanity's doing this. Do you know what I mean? It was a kind of like, there wasn't a single interview we did where they didn't bring up Fake Modo.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's a thing when you're someone who was semi-successful or something like that. It's hard to sort of move away. And
it wasn't so much an issue, but you could see like the boys were just wanted to move on.
Yeah,
you know, let's guys come
That's
on,
done.
do like like let's go on and do, you know, and like this is what I'm doing now. Fake Mother was great, but this is what I'm up to now, kind of thing. But that was basically how that come about, and the we did, like I say, we got really lucky with that first tour, and then stuff came from it. We did like some mid-range festivals, like we played Takedown Festival and stuff, which was cool. Like While She Sleeps played that, Skin Dread and stuff like that. So that was cool, knocking about with those
Skin
guys.
Dread just play everywhere constantly. Those dudes take anything, I swear.
Literally, they're everywhere, man. But yeah, literally, it was just such a nice insight of like what it's like to be in a band that's doing it for a living. You know, like doing when we went to Slam Dunk and stuff and all like that. Like, it was just mad. Like, you're just knocking around with bands you've been listening to for years. Like walking through catering and like talking to Jason from Let Live. I was just like, sorry.
Oh, you got to speak with Jason?
Yeah, briefly. I didn't want to annoy him because he was eating, but like I didn't want to, like, you know, he would just walk past me with his food.
Yeah.
But I didn't want, like, you know, like that's the thing. You have to go through that phase of becoming like non-fanboy. You can't fanboy out.
No, because you're in a band and you have respect of your peers as well. You don't want to just be sat there gushing over people when you're like, actually, my band's the shit. So
it's a bad look being like getting pumped when you meet someone that you really like. So like,
let's be honest, it's not worth it unless they're truly worth it. You know, like if Corey was milling about, you'd be like, I will fucking touch you.
Yeah. The thing is like it was one of them moments because I was listening to Let Live a hell of a lot, and he was in there, so I just had a quick chat with him, man. I was just, you know, just milled along with it and stuff and cracked on. But like, there's certain people you just have to say something to.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You know, and especially now with him as well, it's like it's a cool story because it's not like he's irrelevant now either. Like, you know, still very relevant.
Yeah, you knock past people that are still touring now and stuff. You know, it's mad. Like when you look at like While She Sleeps and stuff, like what they were playing when I was. I mean, While She Sleeps played the Twist.
Yeah.
With me in Fear.
Yeah.
And you know, and then those guys have been grinding so hard to get to where they are now, and they've gone from And then I played in Hey Vanity with them at Takedown Festival, and they had the room was rammed, mate. It was chaos.
Yeah.
Literally, the minute they come out, everyone just kicked off, and then they're playing 3,000 people selling out the Roundhouse. So those guys are proof.
Proof that if you keep at it, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, really, really, really work hard, and they don't do anything but they literally just shows constantly in people's face. But they, those guys are a bunch of good guys as well.
So, how many tours did you actually do with Hey Vanity in the end? Anyway, was it just a couple?
Yeah, I think it was.
So you got a bunch of stuff on YouTube as well, haven't you? Like the tour videos and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, we did like, I think it was 5 music videos, something like that.
Yeah,
5 or 6 music videos. Some of them were like more production than others. Like some were kind of winging it as such. Some were quite standard, like just a band performance in a room.
Yeah.
Others were like, the one, I think it was the last one I did actually, was a lot more technical. Like it's only like a 2.5 minute song, but we made it so technical that the edit took forever.
Oh, okay.
It's where, like, I don't know if you've seen it, but like where the drums move backwards and forwards, and
yeah, you've shown me that one. Yeah,
and like, yeah, and then there's people disappearing, and at the end, like, I throw my sticks in the air, and the drum kit disappears, and the sticks land on the floor. Like, just yeah. It all depends what we were looking for at that time, but yeah, we did a handful of music videos. We did like 4 tours, maybe something like that, 5 tours maybe, and then that was where I departed the band. I can't remember when that was. That was 6 years ago, maybe, something like that. So I wasn't doing it. I haven't been doing anything musically really since then.
Yeah. So, but now obviously you're doing your YouTube stuff to keep the old creative juices flowing and stuff like that. So trying it. Well, it's a bit difficult with a lockdown and obviously the bad weather and stuff like that. Obviously, it was doing really well though.
Yeah, it was all right. Yeah.
So
yeah, it's all right. It was.
You got more views than I have on one of these podcasts.
The thing with it is, man, is like I've always enjoyed 3 things from literally since forever's: music, cars, and games.
Yeah.
And like they're the 3 things that I really enjoy talking about and doing stuff like. And you go through different phases in your life. Like while I was doing the music, I didn't have time for anything other than music.
Yeah.
I wasn't playing games. I wasn't doing anything to my car or anything like that. So it was to the point where like that was all I could do. And then like obviously with not doing the music, I had all this kind of creativity, like keeping me up and just getting in my brain, and I just weren't doing anything really with it. Like I play my guitar and stuff, but like I'm not doing anything creative as such with it. So instead of relying on other people, I just started up a YouTube channel for fun. And yeah, it was pretty fun. Like, you know, just documenting stuff that I was doing with the car and that, and doing little bits and bobs and recording stuff when I was going to meets and stuff like that, and going around track days and whatever. So which was quite fun.
You missed something. You did do your covers channel as well.
Oh yes,
you said you didn't do nothing musically, and I was like, actually, you fucking did.
I lied. Yeah, I did. I did the whole YouTube covers thing because, again, like I was, when you get to the point where you're like, why am I not doing what I want to do? You kind of have to ask why.
Yeah.
You sit and think and like, why am I not doing music? And then you think about it, like deep down inside, everyone goes, oh, well, you know, I don't know, but you do know. Deep down inside, you know why.
Oh, yeah.
And it was mainly because of my, like, just a massive confidence knock. I just couldn't, after Hey Vanity, I just couldn't get back on. And trying to explain that to people was impossible. But, you know, like my parents were, just get back and do it. I'm like, okay, let's go.
Yeah,
like,
I was going to say, it's not as simple as that, is it? It's like anything.
When you've poured your life into something and then it gets taken away from you, you can't explain it. It's not even a bitterness thing. It's a case of, it's almost like being scared to go back because, you know, you're scared to go back. And
well, there's so many factors. I mean, obviously the other side of the coin is you've got a job. Obviously you've got a fiance now. You know, everything like that. You want to buy a house together. You want to do all these things together, and it's difficult to weigh that up because at the end of the day, it's like, what do I want? You know. Do I,
Yeah,
do I want to
absolutely.
be with the love of my life, or do I want to go and chase a career of being in a band? Like, what's more priority? What is, stuff
That
like
was
that.
another thing. That was another thing. It got to the point where like I was kind of up to 30 years old, and I was like,
It's just gonna
what?
happen, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's not that I was gonna be like I'm closing the door and that's never gonna happen ever again.
No,
It was
no,
more of
no.
a case of like it was more of a case of I need to do something else
In case
in
this
the
doesn't
meantime.
happen, exactly.
In the meantime,
Yeah.
because like I, Lee sticking around was never a proven fact. It was never a fact. So the fact I was playing tours, shows, festivals on our anniversaries, on birthdays, on special events, she'd be there with everyone, and I'd be on a show. Like there was no
How long was
guarantee.
that going to stick as well? I guess is
Yeah,
something
there
that's
was no,
even if that isn't a factor, because I know Lee, and like I can imagine she was probably like, no, you do it, but like still
yeah,
for you, do you want to do that? Like I understand that. It's like, do you want to
yeah.
do that? You want to be there? Do you know what I mean? You don't want to miss these things, so it's
That
difficult.
is the thing. You become so caught up in what you're doing, you're missing what everyone else is doing.
Hmm.
Like you were just missing everyone else's what was going on in everyone else's life. You'd come back off tour like a vegetable because you were knackered, like literally, like you just missed everything. And it got to the point where like you did wonder those things. You're like, am I missing? Am I wasting? Not wasting my time, but am I wasting time that I could be putting into other things?
Hmm.
Like a mortgage and getting a place for yourself and going further, like like obviously like me and Lee were getting married at the end of the year and stuff like that. Like things just your life just changes, and like it prepares, well, kind of, you have to prepare yourself to where you're going to sit. Like, is it time now to be like, I've had my fun, I'm going to settle down and I'm going to play music for fun? But that was the issue, is that I couldn't, after doing Faye and then Hey Vanity, I couldn't play music and not want to do it
Like
forever.
all in kind of
So
thing.
I
Yeah.
needed, yeah, absolutely. It was all in or nothing. So I kind of had to force myself to not do it,
Hmm.
because it was gonna. I wanted to be part of that whole band environment. I loved everything about it.
Yeah.
At the moment you're in it, it sucks. Like like you're just like sleeping in a van and stuff.
Yeah, I fucking
Is
hate this. But then as soon as you're out of it, it's like, again, I don't have this to compare to, but it's like festival blues. You go to a festival and you're there and you're like, I fucking hate camping, and then you leave, or like the weather's been shit all weekend, and then you leave and like, oh, I want to go back. I want to go back. Take me back.
literally. I think it's the British in us. We just love to moan about shit.
Yeah.
Like, because we'll be on tour. Oh, I slept like shit last night. Slept on the floor. I'm starving. What is that? Who are you? Like, just moan,
Hmm.
moan. Get off tour. Get home. I want to go back on tour. Like, always the way. Always the way. Because the thing is, as well, is you don't. Although you're not busy all the time on tour, you're in somewhere completely different every day.
Yeah.
Literally,
It's an
like
adventure, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's a
yeah,
fucking adventure. So,
yeah, going all the way up to Scotland or back down, or like even going up like down to Plymouth and then over like Manchester to Leeds to wherever. Like you just knock around the whole country and like meet different people all the time, And it got to the point where like doing that Broco Mallory, what happened there?
nothing, we're good. We're still here.
Mine's gacking out so hard.
Oh, don't worry about it. You're good this end. That's all that matters. This is where it's recorded.
Yeah, we're doing that Broco Mallory tour. Gave me like an insight of what it's like to be in a real band. Not saying us, but like they were definitely like.
Okay, now. Oh, no, you're back. It's all good. We're good. We're good. Carry on. Oh, no, we're not. It's just me. Hello?
Hello, what the hell is going on?
I don't know.
Mate, literally, I didn't change anything.
I don't know what happened. All I've got is your picture right now.
Yeah, hold on. I don't know what is going on.
It's alright. I'll do a little bit of an edit.
That just shat. Literally, it was pranging, and you were like, "No, it's fine." So I just.
Well, you
carried
were
on talking.
fine, and then you froze, and then I could still hear you, and then you unfroze, and then you froze again. So.
Right, should we recall? Because I.
Yeah,
Can you
okay,
see
yeah.
me?
No, I can't
I'll
see you.
recall. All right.
Can you? Oh.
This is fun.
There we go. We're good.
Shit the bed.
Okay, so we're back. You were saying Mallory tour.
Yeah, like the Broco Mallory tour was a real insight to like obviously like bands that have been doing it for years that were getting popular and playing bigger and bigger shows. And you know, just being around bands of that stature, watching people around them was mental, because the minute they saw you on stage, they assumed you guys were super tight. Like
Right.
the minute, and there was people always knocking around backstage trying to get in backstage.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And stuff like that, and it was just like it was a bit seedy.
Yeah,
I can describe it. It was like people were so desperate. Like literally, I had two girls to me. Right, I was just walking past, and one of them went to me, went over this. They were trying to get past this bouncer, and this bouncer goes, "Oh, I know him," and pointed to me, and I just went, "No, I don't," and I just went, "No, you don't," and they were like, "Oh, fuck you, man!" But it's just they're so desperate, man. It's unbelievable. People to get backstage just to be like. Knock around with bands.
Just to say that they did as well is like, you know.
Well, that's the thing. They're trying to get close to the bands that they really enjoy, like they really like. And when they see you on stage, they assume you're like best buds with them.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's like they instantly think, "Oh, you guys are touring together. You guys must be tight." And I'm like, "I've met them today."
Yeah.
Like,
hi guys, the end kind of thing.
We're not tight. Yeah. That's the weird thing as well when you hear like tour diaries and you see bands talking about other bands. You're like, "Oh yeah, we're super tight," and they've played like 2 shows together. It's like, come on, man.
You're bullshitting, yeah.
Yeah, literally, like it just gets it is a bit seedy. Like, and the weird thing about it as well is like you don't want to keep name dropping.
No.
But like when people are like, "Who have you played with?" and then you start reeling off bands or whatever.
No, shit, no way, kind of thing. Yeah,
literally. Yeah, "Oh, you played. I love those guys," or whatever. You know, that's just how that conversation goes. But yeah, it was a weird old time. Like when we played the last show in Manchester, we all went out after. So all the Broco guys, all the Mallory guys, and us all went out in Manchester, and there was just this squad of like 6 people following us all night.
Oh, really?
But they were like from afar. Yeah, they were like probably, I don't know, like 30, 40 feet away all evening. Just every club we went to, they were there, just following us. By the end of the last club, they'd had enough to drink that they came up to us. And then we just were hanging out all night.
What the hell?
At the end, yeah. In the last venue, we were all hanging out together. And I was just like, that's mad that they just followed us around all evening. Got pissed up enough.
Yeah.
Got pissed up enough to come over. Like they were obviously following Broco around or whatever. But yeah, it was mental, man. Like people just, it's weird. Like people just do that kind of thing.
That's insane.
It's insane. Yeah.
It's just such a weird thing of like hearing stories of like the other side of the fence. You know what I mean? Because obviously, it's not something you hear quite normally.
People don't even try to understand who you are before they try asking you things either. Like they'll literally they'll just mob you because they see you were on stage. They'll just mob you.
Really?
Literally.
And ask stuff like what?
Everything. Literally, after playing a festival, someone asked for my vest that I was wearing at the time.
Well, can I have your vest that was on? You were like,
on me.
No.
Yeah. Literally, I was
It's
like,
on me.
I'm wearing it.
This is covering my nipples. No.
This is on foot. This is sweat. This is dripping full of sweat.
Yeah.
And they were like, I don't care. And I was like, what am I going to have? And it was a girl. And she's like, my top. I was like, no thanks.
No thanks. You can keep that.
She's like, nah.
Crazy.
Yeah, literally, like I was just like, yeah, I'll just have your crop top. That was
Oh wow.
It's insane, mate. Literally, just the maddest stuff. Like people want everything you've touched as well. Literally, I'll have you I always used to throw out a couple of sticks at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Whether it was Frey or Vanity, just whatever. Just lob a couple of sticks out because they were busted anyway.
Yeah.
And you throw them out, and literally never enough. You got the set list, so go back to the drums. Give someone the set list. Someone's kicking off like shit to the right of me, so I'm like, I'll grab this set list and give that to him. And then that's the thing. And like the boys said to me, don't keep doing that. He said,
"They'll fucking want more."
Yeah, they'll never leave the stage. They'll have your shoes. They'll have your bloody soul. Like literally, like you. That is the thing.
That's
like,
mad.
You just gotta, you just leave. Just honestly, give them your sticks and get off stage. Because literally, they'll
see. I miss all this stuff because obviously, like when I go to a show, the show finishes and I go home.
But I'm talking about the people that are literally
like waiting, like at the barrier. Yeah.
Sat on the barrier. And then they see you do whatever, and they're like, "Give me all your shit." It's
Give
like,
me
oh,
everything. Yeah.
I used to
Give
keep,
me your
I
money.
literally, I used to keep a big like wad of sticks to my side to throw out.
It's like,
Yeah, the ones that were just busted, like semi-busted, that I'm never going to use again. So just throw them out or whatever.
yeah.
And yeah, like that was the thing where like it's mental, man.
Don't you
It's
think
just
that's a crazy thought? Is there's potentially someone out there who's got a drumstick of yours because they watched
of
you
mine.
play? That's a pretty mad thought, isn't it?
It's insane. Yeah, it's madness, man. Like people, yeah, like that whole thing.
Yeah,
like,
but oh, I saw Fake Komodo, I got a drumstick, you know.
yeah,
Put them on Spotify.
yeah, mate. The weirdest thing as well, we've got like as well because I was in a very similar mindset in Hey Vanity as I was to Fake Modo. Is like I'm just me.
Yeah.
I'm just me in a band, and after this tour, I'm gonna go home and be a postman.
Yeah, I love that. I'm gonna go home and be a postman and play Xbox.
Yeah, and there's people coming up to you at festivals wanting a photo with you and stuff, and I'm just like, shut up. Like what you like?
I'm just Harry.
I'm literally I'm just a postman.
Yeah.
Like it is what it is, but like that is the thing is again you remember being on the other side of the fence when you'd meet someone you know not look up to is the wrong word, but like you'd see play live and be like that was sick or whatever. You'd be like, can I have a photo quickly?
Yeah.
Like when we went and saw Alpha Wolf or something. Just
exactly. Yeah. So you know what it's like as well. Obviously, you've seen that side of the coin.
Absolutely, but the weird thing is being like a small size band as such, and that kind of thing happening, and then you have to remind yourself you're like you've been there, you've seen bands on stage and you've been like that.
If anything, though, it's cool because it goes to show that people were enjoying the stuff that you guys were putting out, like enough to be able to, to pay to go to a show of yours or to come see you at a festival and stuff like that.
I used to always just say to people as well. I'd be like, just come and say hello to us after the show. We'll all be knocking around. Just come and say hello. We'll all have a chat. No drama. Like we I can't remember where we were now, but we were just packing up this show, and these 4 kids stood and waited for an hour in the doorway, and looked at me every time I walked past. Didn't say a word, and I was packing the stuff up, and we were just about to go, and one of them managed to pick up like the confidence to speak and say something.
Yeah.
And I was like, have you guys been waiting for us? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, dude,
should have said hello about a week ago.
I was like, come on. Like they'd been there for like an hour, literally at least. And I was just like, and I ended up having a chat with them for half hour and doing all the bits they wanted me to do, sign their CD and then have a photo, and off we went. But like, it's madness that happened to me. Like,
I was going to say, I was literally about to say, I didn't want to cut you off on them, but I was going to say, irregardless of like, what happens with you down the road of like if you get into another band at some point or whatever, but like even if you don't, it's still a cool life experience to have had. Just full stop. Like it doesn't really matter. Like you've tasted the other side anyway, even if it doesn't happen again, kind of thing. Like at least you've been there and you've done it. Like how many people can say they've done that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like you thinking the number of people in the fucking world who probably want to do that and never will, and you have had that chance to experience that. It's fucking awesome.
Man,
so cool.
Yeah, I'm hugely grateful for it. Like that's the thing is like it's such a strong memory in my mind. I can't not think about it.
Yeah,
like, it was such a great time. Like I met so many friends, so many people, so I had so many experience and learned incredible amounts about music and just everything. In the whole time I was doing it. But yeah, like the experiences can only be had in that environment. Like playing to 1,400 people is just dumb.
Yeah,
like it's just dumb. Like you're just looking at,
the sea essentially.
Yeah, 1,400. You're looking at 2,800 eyes, like just staring at you. Like, and you just sat there, just playing your drums.
No, I'm just playing a song that I made with my mates, kind of thing.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, in Chelmsford, in a room, and here we are. Like that is the thing. Like that is the thing when things come across, you just get to that point. You're like, what? Yeah. It's actually so mental. Like when we did the first, when we did the Broco tour, we were like, right, we're going to get a cover for this. What are we going to do? And that's when we worked out the Hey Ya by Outkast.
Oh yeah.
And we did that, and that worked out quite well. But that was a real good get the crowd going song.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as we
regardless, they know your shit, especially if they're supporting. They're in.
Everyone was singing along, and like Mark was really good at doing the crowd stuff as well. So where we weren't running to a click, we'd just wing it. I'd play the middle bit with the boys really quietly, and then Mark would get the crowd going. So he'd get the crowd doing the hey, he'd get them doing all that, and then while he does the shake it over the top, so he's got 1,400 people going hey, while he's doing the shake it over the top. It was insane.
Yeah,
to literally see that in front of you, happening in front of you, like
it's
it was
awesome.
just mad. Yeah, it was just mad. Like the crowd participation moments like that were like, yeah, like I could hear them over my in-ears.
Yeah,
Stuff like that. And I'm behind a drum kit and I can hear I'm playing and I'm like looking at my mates like, what's going on here?
This
like,
is going
like,
well. Yeah. This worked. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that is the thing, is like it's a huge buzz when you've got that connection to so many people you don't know.
I can imagine it's addictive as well. Hence it's such a vivid thing in your mind as well. It's like it's that adrenaline rush and stuff like that. So
absolutely. The weird thing as well is I think about shows when my favourite shows are smaller shows for sure, because the connection is much more of a personal thing. Like, you know, when we did, I've played shows to 300 people that I preferred to 11.
Well, how many bands do you hear say that and they miss playing those shows because you don't have that connection when you're in a room of 20,000 or whatever?
Like we played the biggest room I've ever played in Manchester, and it was dumb. It was huge, and I was like, "What are we doing here then?"
Yeah, it's
I hit my snare, and it was like, in the back of the room. I was like, "What's this? Why am I here?
Yeah, how did I manage this?
What the bloody hell's going on here?" Where, like, you know, and it was insane, and it was a great experience. But like the show we played to 300, 400 the night before was just like, it was just so much more. You could see everyone getting into it like real close, but obviously where it was 1,400, there was stage up here, barrier gap, people, you know, so it was like there was a couple of hurdles as such, but that personal connection levels is definitely where you want it, especially with something like that.
That's awesome.
It's just different worlds, mate, different worlds, isn't it?
Yeah. An invasion.
I gathered. I saw the mute.
Yeah, I was like, no, not now.
Not now.
No. So that's amazing. Like, it's crazy. It's a crazy thought, to be fair. Well, we've been talking for like nearly 2 hours at this point.
I know.
Should probably wrap this thing up if anyone's even made it this far.
Yeah.
Just in general. I knew I was going to get invaded just as I was about to wrap things up. I was like, probably should put a little bow on this now. This is going to be the longest episode of this.
Shock.
Yeah, I fully expected to be. I knew I'd have lots to say, and I knew I'd have lots to ask and stuff like that. So, no, it's been awesome. So before we go, I'll try and do this now. Well, I've got a guess. You got anything you want to plug, aka your YouTube / social media / Instagram / whatever you want to plug?
Well, I'm gonna in the near future, I'm gonna get back to the whole YouTube thing, but like,
where can they find you?
They can find me on YouTube for VersionOne. It's called. The channel's called VersionOne, and my Instagram is ashc_v1, and that will be basically where I do my bits and bobs, whether it be about my cars in general, car shows, bits, but basically automotive goodness on that channel.
Awesome.
It's
your VersionOne channel, is it version_1? Your YouTube channel? No. Is it just version number 1?
No, one the word.
Oh, okay, all one word. Okay, cool. Just so I know.
It is, VersionOne, not the letter. Sorry, the letter.
The spelling. If you can spell one, you're in there. Not like one, like I win.
Yeah, there will be more videos coming soon, but like it took a bit of a null point because it was really hard to record in bad weather and all that crap.
Yeah, so, exactly. I mean, we could have had a whole other episode about you talking about cars and telling me stuff about cars. And I would have been like, I know nothing.
And you would have been asleep.
I would have been like, I put the key in. I don't put the key in mine, that's lies. I press a little button and it goes. And I
don't think anyone has a key anymore.
Yeah, I don't think that's a thing anymore. If you still have a key, then sorry.
What year is it?
What's a key?
I literally have a card. Whenever I have that card out, mate, people are like, "What's that then?" Like, that's my card.
that's my key.
What does it do? I'm like, "Well, start it."
It starts the car. Cool. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Again, I've been Az, and this has been the podcast. And if you could follow me on Twitter and stuff like that, I'm at Azza __. You can find me on YouTube at the PodcAZt, PodcAZT. And then obviously I haven't got an Instagram for this, but you can follow my Instagram at @Azza__ on that as well. And we'll see you next time. Ash? I'm fucking trying to name you after me now.
As
I have had a very long day. This is back-to-back podcast for me, so I'm blaming it on that. Ash, it's been a pleasure, mate. Thank you for being on the podcast.
thanks for having me.
Guys, we'll see you next time.